Set 2, problems 1 through 6. Here's some hints. I'll do the hints. You do the math. Let's remember the basic things. The first 2 rules, most important 2 rules. You have to get something written down. You just can't leave the paper blank. You just can't stew about a problem in your head. Get something written down. If the problem says, suppose you have a triangle, draw a triangle. If it says, suppose I've gone 9 miles east and 12 miles north, draw it. The second rule, not only put something on paper, but leave nothing in your head. If there's a degree angle measure of 42 degrees, write 42. If the problem says x is 6 and y is 9, and you're supposed to substitute, write this in. The third rule, be neat. Don't just scribble stuff here and there. Be organized. The fourth rule, think of simple examples when you're not sure how to do a problem. If you're not sure about the midpoint formula, think of 2 simple points, 0 and 5. What's the midpoint? 2.5. How do you know that? How'd you get it? Add them and divide by 2? Maybe that's not a good example. How about 2 and 10? I know the answer is 6. How'd I get it? Add them and divide by 2. It helps. The lead of a screw is the distance the screw advances in a straight line. God, I don't understand what any of this means. Well, suppose I had a block of wood, and I have a poorly drawn screw. What's it saying is happening? At one complete turn, this thing goes in 1/8 of an inch. I see the screw is 2.5 inches long. Every time I turn it one whole time, it goes in 1/8 of an inch. So the question is really asking, how many eighths are there in 2.5 inches? Do the math. This is a tough one. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this one. You play with it. What's the sign of A? Well, we all know this little mnemonic, SOCRATOA. That becomes our something on the table, the simple example. Write it out. But don't stop there. Write out sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So then you can just fill in blanks. What's the sine of A? The opposite of A, 12. What's the hypotenuse? 13. Salads, soups, sandwiches, drinks. How many combinations are there? Well, it's hard to figure out if you were to enumerate them all. Let's do a simple one. This is our something on the table example. Suppose I just had 2 things, or a category 1 and a category 2. In my category 1, I've got A and B. My category 2, I've got 1, 2, and 3. My question is, how many combinations do I have? Well, I've got A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, 6. So I have 2 of thing 1, 3 of thing 2. In total, I've got 6. Therefore, the general rule, I multiply the number of things together. Therefore, in my example above, I've got 3, 2, 5, 4. Multiply them all together. 5. The volume V of a right circular cone, blah, blah, blah. Write this out. Be neat. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Make sure you substitute in correctly. The volume is 142. The height is 8.5. Write it all out. Then solve. The boat departs Port Isabella, Texas, traveling to an oil rig. This rig is 9 miles east and 12 miles north. So I'm going somewhere. I start someplace. I go 9 miles east, 12 miles north. How many miles is the rig from my departure point? That's what it wants. Pythagorean theorem. So here's a quick look at 6 problems. 5 are very simple. The 6 is hard. It's probably easy. I'm just missing something. And that happens. Give it a try.